Pierce Harger of Northwestern in the 165 weight class squaring off against second-seeded Nick Moore of Iowa. Harger off to a fast start. He gets a 2-point takedown. Moore would get an escape to make it 2-1, but Harger would come back with another takedown to make it 4-1. Moore would make it 4-3, but Harger gets an escape to make it 5-3. Moore would tie it up at 5 apiece, but beginning the third period, Harger gets a key escape that would put him up 6-5. Moore trying to battle back, but Harger towards the end of the third period gets a key takedown that would put him up 8-5, and that would be the final. Harger moving on to tonight's finals against number 1 seeded Taylor Walsh of Indiana. Mike McMullen getting set to take on Ty Walls of Virginia Tech in the heavyweight semifinals. McMullen gets a nice little tackle here. He was up 2-0 at the time. He'd get a key escape here that would put him up 3-0. Ty Walls would come back and get an escape that made it 3-1. He'd get one more additional escape, but based upon riding time, McMullen gets another point. He ends up winning the match by a 4-2 final and will square off with number 2 seed Bobby Telford of Iowa in the finals. 133 consolation bracket, Dominic Malone squaring off against 17th ranked national wrestler Danny Sabatello of Purdue. Malone off to a hot start, gets the takedown to go up 2-0. He would go up 5-0. Sabatello would fight back, and then Dominic Malone gets a takedown here. That would put him up 7-4. Sabatello would fight back to tie it at 7-7. That would force them to sudden victory overtime, and in the sudden victory, Dominic Malone gets Sabatello in a bad position and eventually gets the takedown. Malone wins 9-7. He is guaranteed a place in the consolation bracket and will move on to the consolation semifinals.
8th ranked Alex Polizzi in the quarterfinals of the consolatory rounds at Midlands, facing off against 20th ranked Jared Hott of Virginia Tech. Hott took an early lead with a takedown, but Polizzi came back with an escape, leaving the score at 2-1 Hott at the end of the first round. The second round was all Polizzi, with a second escape for 1 point, soon followed by a takedown for 2, giving Polizzi a total of 4 points altogether and the lead. Hott would be unable to make up those points, even with an escape in the third round. Polizzi wins the match 3-4 and advances onward in the consolatory rounds.
Jason Surtsis wrestling in the semifinals of the 149 weight class against Brody Grothus of Iowa. Surtsis would get the first point with this escape here. That would put him up 1-0. This was a tight match throughout. Grothus would come back before the end of regulation. He would get an escape here. That would tie it at 1-1 after 3 periods. They would go into overtime. Surtsis would get another escape in the overtime period to put him up 2-1. Grothus would come back and get an escape as well, but by the rules, the advantage in riding time after 2 overtime periods declares the victor. Surtsis, with 5 extra seconds of riding time, moves on to the championship finals in the 149 weight class.
Alex Polizzi and Jeff Kepke of Illinois face off in the semifinal round of the consolatory tournament at Midlands for the 197-pound weight class. Moving into the second round with the score still tied at 0, Kepke would take the lead with an escape. But the tides quickly turned for Polizzi in the third round, first scoring a point with an escape, followed with a reversal, which would bring his point total up to 3. And with riding time, Polizzi would end the match with a 4-1 victory, bringing him into the final round of the consolatory tournament, fighting for a shot at the 3rd place title.
7th place match in the 133 weight class between Dominic Malone and Caleb Richardson of Penn. Dominic Malone will start off here with the takedown. That put him up 2-0, and he would continue his assault. He gets a reversal here. That would give him 4 points. Malone was up pretty much the entire match, and then takedown. That gives Malone another advantage. He get another point for riding time. He wins the 7th place match by a 7-5 final in the 52nd annual Ken Kraft Midlands Championship. 125 weight class third place match, Stevan Michich against Corey Mines of Edinburgh. Michich would get a takedown here that would put him up 2-0 on Corey Mines. Michich, who is wrestling unattached for Northwestern, would continue to dominate throughout the match. Gets an escape right here. That would put him up 3-0. Mines would get an escape. The match would end at 3-1 plus 1 point for riding time. Michich claims third place unattached in the 125 weight class of the 52nd annual Ken Kraft Midlands Championship.
We're ready to go at 149, though. Number 1 and 2 seeds for the Midlands Championships. 52nd Ken Kraft Midlands Championships.
Didn't move off the whistle that time. You saw the Northwestern corner really kind of urge him on to get going. So get that short sit going, peel the hands, cover the fingers. Now you drop your hips out. See that there?
Got the hips away and got one.
Yeah, focused on getting the hips out as opposed to fighting the grip. Nice mat return there. Good job of hand finding by Habit again.
There's a 1 point escape. It's all knotted. We've seen those ones, it seems like, in every match.
Going to go ahead and pull down a one and push away on the other. Switches off, but Habit just stays with him there. And what he's forgetting about is just creating a little hip separation. If he can move his hips a little bit out, now he's in a position to be able to go ahead and do that, reach back through, and the referee's going to call another foul. That's the end of the period.
They'll go to overtime. We've been here before today. Going to fall behind if Serchis can get out. Of course, it's like a match. Even if Serchis get out, they're going to keep wrestling.
Nice work, Tim. You see how he did the inside sit right there, and shoelaces flat, came out, got in a good working position. Notice how he's trying to work forward.
There's the one, but we keep going. Habit's got to get the takedown right here to win. And Jason Serchis is his third overtime win in a row. Quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. Jason Serchis knows how to win in overtime. He's a Midlands champion. One for the host school. Serchis, a champion at 149 pounds.